I've been with my boyfriend, I'll call him Paul, for 3 years and living together for 6 months. Paul has serious problems with forgetting important documents, and after the 4th time he did this, I became responsible for carrying our documents in my purse. According to him, all documents have a digital version, which is enough. Not all are digital, passports, and not all places accept the digital form, but he is stubborn and maintains this position. I don't mind being responsible for the documents. Most of the time, I have them in my purse. That is until one day, 2 months ago, he called me asking about one particular document because he needed it for something, and they didn't accept the digital version. I was at work and told him I had it with me. He scolded me saying that the document should be at home and told me to stop holding his documents. I handed his papers over to him and said I would no longer be responsible for this or warn him about it because I was doing a favour for someone I love, a capable adult, 27. For the situation, our friends Paul and I decided to travel to another country on New Year's from 27th of December to the 3rd of January, and a passport is needed as it is on another continent. We decided to go to the capital, where we would stay at our friend's house until our flight time. Our city is 2 hours away. We decided to go to the airport 4 hours before, visit the VIP room, and I went to check all my documents first. Paul was on my side, and when he saw only one passport, he asked about his, and I just said, "You have it." He panicked, saying he thought I'd taken more passports than usual and left it at home. He decided to run home and come back. He asked me to go with him, but I didn't want to spend 4 hours in the car. He went to get his passport, but complained that this was something I should remind him of, and I went with my friends to the airport. In short, he didn't arrive on time, and I decided I wouldn't miss my trip because of him, so I turned off my cell phone and made my 12-hour trip. When I arrived, I got several messages from him saying that he couldn't believe I'd gone on a trip without him and that I'd done it as a form of revenge because of his scolding. The flights are all booked up or too expensive, so he probably won't come. He's still accusing me of leaving him behind after purposely not remembering something I know he struggles with. My friends are on my side, but I feel doubtful. Am I the idiot? I forgot one detail. I always make a list of our trips of what to take. His passport was on the list and he still forgot it. Not the idiot. So he scolded you for holding on to his documents after asking you to do just that. Now he's complaining because you followed his wish, but afterward didn't baby him and remind him of his passport. He needs a mommy, not a girlfriend. Maybe your solo vacation is enough of a wake-up call for him. Good on you for sticking to your guns. What he's done and continues to do is called weaponized helplessness, and it's a no-win situation for you no matter what you do. Keep your phone off and enjoy your trip. Time for Paul to realize that the OP is his girlfriend, not his mummy. Judging by his behavior, he sounds like a baby to me. OP even made him a list with the passport on it. Seriously, I feel dumber after reading this. Do such people really exist? OP, please, dump him already. He's very irresponsible and very rude to you. You shouldn't have to miss your vacation due to his negligence. He's a grown man who's blaming you for his irresponsibility. He's self-sabotaged the trip and expected you to miss it by coming home with him. He's angry because his plan didn't work. Yep, she wrote him a list of what he needed to bring and the passport was on it. So she did still baby him and remind him, and he still forgot. Or possibly forgot it. At this point, I'm leaning towards thinking that he's doing this to make up something she keeps doing wrong. Or he didn't actually want to go and either deliberately or subconsciously left it behind so he'd have an excuse. And he wanted her to go with him to fetch it. So it's possible he was trying to sabotage the trip for her too. I realise this sounds nuts, but so does the way he's trying to make everything her fault, even when she changes what she's doing because he asks her to. And shortly after moving in together, is a common point for idiots to think they've got their partner locked down. It's safe to start showing their true colours. My dad is a huge idiot. My mom comes off as very sweet, but she chooses to stay with him. She's not financially dependent or afraid of him. It took me a while to see it, but I guess she isn't that great either, because if she was, sure as heck she wouldn't be with him. My father promised us all a family vacation in February. My siblings and I decided on Turks and Caicos and have been planning it ever since. Needless to say, my kids were excited. Note, I don't truly think my dad gets what a big deal it is, as he's always on vacation. My dad doesn't like my wife, never has, and over Christmas he became irate over what we got my mom for Christmas and how mother-in-law got a lot more from us. He uninvited us from the trip and berated us. Our kids are devastated, but I don't think he ever even considers them. My mom came over today to drop off a gift that arrived late for our son. The kids were very upset about the trip and didn't want to see her. She claimed she felt bad and said she would talk to him for the kids. My daughter told my son that maybe it would work because my mom is nice even if my dad isn't. My wife was annoyed by this and corrected our daughter. She said my mom isn't nice, she's weak and selfish, and nice people don't stay married to not nice people, and if you really want to be nice, you have to put the right thing before what makes you happy. My mom was clearly shocked. She turned to me and asked if I would let her treat her like that. I shrugged and said she was right. My mom told me to screw off and left. We are still uninvited from the trip and banned from their house, and my dad sent us a nasty message and said we'll never get anything from him again. Am I the idiot for not defending my mom? OP, please explain how accepting a free vacation from a huge idiot makes you any different than the woman who stays with said idiot. You are the idiot, as is your wife, and huge hypocrites as well. How incredibly ironic that your wife would say this and you'd support her. So it's weak and selfish for your mother to remain married to a not nice person, but it's perfectly fine for you and your family to go on vacation with that same not nice person. I disagree. It's everyone's the idiot here. The wife got more presents for her mother than her mother-in-law. That seems pretty normal to me. She did her job by getting a present. It's petty as heck to be upset you didn't get the same treatment as someone's mother. Also, where was the son in all this? Why are they mad at the wife for treating her mom, but not at the husband for not gifting his own mother more presents? How is this all on the wife? And who uses Christmas presents as a barometer for whether or not to bring them on a family vacation? They're throwing shade at his mom for staying with his dad, but have no issues with paid vacays. Super hypocritical. It's also suspicious that OP used to think his mother was sweet. She appears sweet, and the only thing wrong she does is stay married to his dad. Seems to me as though the wife is emotionally manipulative of OP and has convinced him that his own mother is not the sweet woman he grew up with, but is this monster for staying married to the idiot, who's probably only an idiot because he calls the wife out on her BS. OP hasn't said what makes Dad an idiot. It seems like the wife is the biggest idiot, and OP is being alienated from his family because of her. You are the idiot, OP. I don't like your wife either. My sister is planning to divorce her husband soon and has been asking my husband for help sorting out her finances and restarting her career to support herself and her children. I was having a shower, so my husband was watching our son while they talked. My son has a lot of energy and he loves to run around and play, which is what he was doing. I assume he was distracting them because my sister told him to stop. According to my husband, he got upset, but he didn't stop and kept running around. After some time had passed, my sister was angry and she snapped at him to sit down. But again, he never listened, and I walked in as my husband told him that that was enough in a loud, angry voice. My husband never talked to our son like that, so he got scared and started crying. My husband did feel bad and tried to comfort him, but he wouldn't let him and came to me. I asked my husband what happened, and I was angry at both of them, but especially at my husband for speaking to our son the way he did when he was only playing like he normally does. I told my sister it was best she left, even though they hadn't finished their conversation, and they both tried to get me to let her stay. I wouldn't, and she eventually left. Usually, if my husband is free, he'll put him to bed, but because our son was still upset with him, I wouldn't let him help as his being there only upset him more. My husband looks forward to putting him to bed, so he told me not to be like that, but I wouldn't budge, so now he's mad at me for excluding him. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I think kicking your sister out rather than taking her aside was extreme and a bit of coddling towards your son. How did your sister ask the first time? Is your husband so impressionable that he never yells at your son, but at your sister's influence he did? That part seems odd to me. This situation was not a case of evil monsters ganging up on your son. I do agree that yelling at the kid, or talking harshly when he's just a kid, is not okay, but it sounds like you weren't in the room, so how do you know their tone? Or did you base your judgment on your son's response? When my niece was 2, she cried because she wanted the French fry in her left hand, but she was holding it in her right hand. I think people without experience around kids might struggle with that point. Toddlers cry all the time. They call it the terrible twos for a reason. You are the idiot, and I say this as a dad myself. Your son is at an age where he tests boundaries, and sees how far he can go before running into said boundaries. If you're afraid of making him cry at that age because someone told him no or stop, there's a good chance he'll grow up to be an unbearable person. Wow, way to teach your toddler that what dad says isn't important. It's perfectly fine to do whatever he wants, and even if someone else gives consequences for his action, you will just come in and be a jerk to everyone until he's happy again. You need to apologize to your husband and sister and do better. Backstory. My wife, 41, let's call her Lisa, and I, 40 male, have been married for less than a year. We also introduced each other to our families in the past year. Her family lives about a 7-hour drive, mine about 20 minutes, so we see my family more than hers. This is already a point of contention, but not the point of this post. We figured we would alternate holidays, and for this year my parents got Thanksgiving and hers got Christmas. Next year we'll flip that. But on to the story. My mom absolutely loves Christmas and giving gifts. Every year she asks us to list things we want to help her shop. I get it's a little childish for grown adults to make Christmas gift lists, but my mom enjoys it, and it's not much effort to put some small things on the list to appease her. So come Thanksgiving, we're at my parents' house socialising, watching football, all 4 of us are football fans, and come half-time of the Lions game, my mom goes and gets 2 small pads of paper and pens and hands them to us and tells us to make our lists as she hasn't gotten any from us yet. My wife goes ballistic and starts yelling at my mom about how stupid that is. She's 41 years old and doesn't appreciate being treated like a child. This caught me completely off guard. She then accused my parents of favouring my brother's wife over her because she's much skinnier, which isn't true and has no basis at all. My parents have never been anything but nice to her. Anyhow, she storms out the house and demands we leave. I refuse and tell her she's making too much of it. She finally relents and we go back in and have a very awkward dinner. I write a few small things on a list for my mom and we leave. When we got home, she blew up on me and said that I should have had her back regardless if I agreed with her, as married couples do. I told her that wasn't reasonable. Fast forward to Christmas and we're now at her parents' house. It comes time for the gift exchange. Her mother explains to me a tradition they've always done, but I'm free not to participate if I don't want to. The tradition is that they draw names to see who gets to open, but before you open you have to answer a trivia question. If you get it right, you open and draw the next name. If you get it wrong, you don't get to open and draw a new name. I tell her mom of course I'll play, mostly because I want to respect their tradition, and also it sounds like a lot of fun. My wife breaks down in tears suddenly and I'm confused. It turns out that this was not a tradition for them at all, but she and her family colluded to have a childish game to try and make me participate, and I was supposed to refuse. By agreeing to play, I ruined the holiday, and they didn't even have the trivia questions ready for the game they had invented. Am I the idiot? Going ballistic over being asked what you want for Christmas? Bruh, who doesn't ask the other adults in the family what they want? And what kind of weird test from her family is this? Not the idiot. Get a divorce and run, dude. That entire family is balls to the walls insane. I don't know how to tell you this, but you married into a family of loons, including your wife. Figuring out who was how much of an idiot is practically beside the point, although we can certainly start with your wife. But first, a Christmas list from adults isn't even slightly childish. And then tears from your loony bride because you were a good sport about what they told you was a family tradition? They all get idiot points for trying to get revenge on you. I assume that was the motivation for the game. Because you didn't join your wife in behaving like an overtired 3-year-old and then claiming that you ruined Christmas by being pleasant and cooperative, I'm so sorry for you. You will probably need a lot of luck to survive this marriage. I wonder if she's intentionally sabotaging her presence at these gatherings to distance you from your family and manipulate you into seeing hers more often than yours. Good luck with the divorce. Your wife appears to have been a very good actress at the beginning of your relationship. She and her family appear to be nuts. You would be doing yourself a great disservice if you stayed with her. Who, in their right mind, behaves like her and her family? I've been painting a mural for my unborn baby's nursery, and my son, toddler, has been watching and helping me to do it. He knew it was a gift for his little brother and he wanted to do the same for his dad, so he went into his home office and scribbled all over the walls while my mother-in-law was watching him. When we saw what he'd done, our son was excited. But my husband was shocked because he was just looking at the scribbles without saying anything. I told my son good job and that it looked really pretty, but he needed to use paper next time instead after he said he made a present for his dad. My husband never said anything in front of our son, but when we were alone, he was upset that I said good job to him because he doesn't think I should be praising him for vandalizing his office. I told him he just wanted to do something nice for him and we could have the office repainted, or I could turn it into a mural if he wanted me to, but he's still upset at me for encouraging his behaviour, and he keeps locking his office so our son can't go inside again. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I'm all for non-authoritative parenting, but this is taking it a step too far. Telling him good job instead of explaining why it's wrong immediately reinforces the bad behaviour. I would also be upset if a kid drew over my office walls. Did you miss the part where it says she corrected him by saying he needs to use paper next time? If a toddler is excited thinking they did something for someone, that's not misbehaving. OP, not the idiot for saying good job. I also do that with my nieces and nephews when they do something for me, but I make sure to explain to them if what they did isn't right or if something needs correcting. I think it could have been managed better, and I actually don't agree that your husband is the idiot either for locking his office door so your son can't get in, at least temporarily. That's setting a boundary, which is okay. But why did mother-in-law, supervising the child, do nothing to stop him? I think you should sit your child down and try to calmly and gently explain to him why he shouldn't do this anymore. He alone is unable to understand. If you don't intervene, you'll soon have all the walls in your house messed up. Not the idiot, though. Not all parenting and discipline require punishment. He's a toddler and mimicking something he saw his mom do. This is super normal behaviour that doesn't warrant getting angry, especially given the clear reason. Wow, what a beautiful drawing, but next time let's use paper, your easel, etc. Here, come help me clean this up. This is not, in fact, bad parenting. It's good parenting. People just don't like it because it isn't fear or consequence-based. The only place I can see that you went wrong here is not having your kid help you clean the walls immediately.